Morning, and you're probably seeing a little bit of earlier stream. So what I'm doing is I'm streaming Destiny 2 on PC, which is just going to mute myself here. I don't want to hear me all the time. There we go. Which is stunning in 4K, and it is proper 4K. So what I thought I'd do is part of my ongoing attempt to raise a bit of money for the Cancer, Leukemia and Children charity. I thought I would stream this in 4K to prove it can be done, and it can be done. I've been testing it. It is only 25 frames per second, and that's just to make it a little bit smoother. I could tweak it and play with it and probably get it up in 30 frames per second, but you're not going to get 60 frames per second unless it's a recorded video and uploaded. Also, if you look to the top left corner, you'll see that we're now into the sort of second day of, it was literally Thursday evening that I started to look to raise money for CLIC, and so 24 hours was last night, so into the second day technically, and we're £432 out of 1,000, which is absolutely amazing. As you can see down here, this is the list of current list of people who have donated, and every single one of them amazing. Some of them have just been mind-blowingly generous, but they've all been generous. I mean, to a person, £1 is amazing. It all goes towards supporting young people and children that are either dealing with cancer that they have, or they are in a family where they need some support. So, without further ado, let's have a look at what Destiny in 4K on a PC looks like. We'll go down to where should we go? It's quite interesting. Dreaming City's quite nice. We'll go down to the Dreaming City, I think. That's pretty cool. Now, there's only one entrance point for this map. I haven't sorry, I just need to square something up. Game's happening in the background. So I haven't, there we go. I haven't promoted this stream. You're probably going to find it after the event. But yeah, so you can see it's a little bit choppy. But that's the PC. I mean, this is really pushing it to extremes. The actual stream itself is holding up, to be honest. We've got, looks pretty good. So let's just have a look at some of this detail.
Any news, cousin?
I'm not being funny, but you try and get this level of detail on a console or Stadia, you just ain't seeing it. Wow, that took care of them. So really, this is more of a, it's more to show you that 4K is possible for streaming, because very few people do it, for good reason, because it really does need a good, oh, there you are, sorry I missed you, it really does need a good PC and a good broadband connection. So on the, hello neighbour, hello. On the subject of broadband, so currently I've got about 36 to 38 megabits up, 450 down. The down is irrelevant when you're streaming, unless you are streaming something that is coming down, which I'm not. So what is relevant is the up, because that's obviously how much data you can push up to YouTube or Twitch or wherever. So the higher that is, the better. I'm streaming at 25,000 bits per second, which is necessary if you're going to do 4K, and even then it's at the limit, so that's okay. 36, I mean, roughly speaking, you want to leave a bit. I could go up as high as 30, but it won't make any difference to the stream, so there's not much point. As I say, the issue isn't so much... By the way, if you're thinking to yourself, that all looks a bit too close, one of the great things about the PC version of Destiny is that you can alter your field of view. So, for example, and I was just banging around because I was going to show you this, if I go to settings and we go to video, you'll see that the field of view is 55. That's actually as tight in as you can go. So if I take that all the way up to its widest setting, okay, 105, and then we come out, it may not be too obvious, but basically what we have now is a much wider field of view, which is probably what most people are used to playing Destiny at. So you can see more of the enemy now. I like a close field of view because there's so much detail on the PC, it's so beautiful that I'm sort of, I just kind of want to see it, you know, the bitmaps, the textures, it's all just gorgeous. Okay, let's jump off. I haven't been down to the I've even forgotten the name of this place, but I haven't been here for probably a better half of a year. Oh, and also obviously I'm using a PC, so although you could use a console, I'm not. I'm using keyboard and mouse, so you kind of have to reprogram your mind every time you play between, say, Stadia. I mean, actually, I'm getting to actually prefer keyboard and mouse. So I'm sort of retraining myself, if you like, to use that over gamepad or controller. I prefer the term controller. I think gamepad is kind of old school Nintendo, Sega terminology. Oh, hello, mate. Hello, mate. Let's get you. There's your mate. Here he is. Gone. Another one there. Get him. Yeah, so I've played a huge amount of Destiny in the past. I don't play as much now as I used to, largely because I've got so many games. I mean, there's just so many games, so little time. And also, I don't have the kind of regular crew that I used to run with anymore. I've got the Rockstars clan on Destiny, which has 97 members, but they're sort of spread across different platforms. Well, Stadia and PS4 really mainly. But if I go and have a look at it now, this will show me that, you know, there's essentially what it's saying here is that of all the people in the clan, there's only the 3 of us that play on PC, and I can't play the full game on PC because I don't have the season passes on PC. I've got full season pass on Stadia, of course, as everybody does.
All hands, we got an ether ritual
But
incoming. Stand by.
not on PC or on PlayStation anymore, which is PS4 was where I traditionally always played Destiny. But now, kind of a bit spoiled really. Got it with the Founders Edition, a Pro Edition to be fair, of Stadia, and collect loot. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, so I haven't bothered to renew it anywhere else, but this is the final season. Look at the little sort of grass. This is the final season where it's part of the Pro deal, which means that once this is done, it's pony up or don't play. Well, you can play, you just can't play you can't benefit from the sort of unique attributes of a specific season. So for example, if we go to our director and look at the seasons, which is essentially a battle pass, we can see that in non-subscribed... Hello Martin, good morning to you, sir. Great to see you. I'm just doing a bit of an impromptu 4K stream to show that it can be done. Hopefully you're seeing this in very good quality. Don't forget to choose 4K from your YouTube settings. I've just been explaining to myself really for the last few minutes because you're the first one here, or at least the first one that has talked to me. That obviously with Stadia we got Destiny, full fat Destiny if you like. We got everything in it for a year. That year's coming soon to an end in the sense that, well, I mean, won't be until November, but this is the final season as far as we, the Pro subscribers, are concerned. So I don't have, because of that, I've not bothered to renew subscriptions on my PlayStation or on this PC. This is PC version, by the way, Martin. It's sorry, you wouldn't necessarily know that, although I think it does say it in the title. So yeah, basically I'm running this off a PC. The PC, it's just to show the difference, because as much as I adore Stadia, it is a massive difference graphically. If you play as I did last night, actually, I played some Crucible last night with Dazzadini and Stadia Mania. You're very welcome to join us at any time if you see us online. I kept saying to them, this feels like it's 1080p, but I've chosen 4K, and I think it's because I've been playing on PC, and the detail is just amazing. It really is compared to Stadia or any of the other platforms. Okay, that's good. That's 1,000. 997. That's 1,000. I think I'll leave it though because it's going up all the time. That one's 1,000. I could take it to 1,000 though. I think 1,000 is the soft cap limit. There's your 1,000. So basically, from now on, everything that drops is going to be 1,000. So the only way that I can go higher now is with I've forgotten the name of them, the special engrams. Actually, what I need to do is get rid of a few of these. Cloak of the I hate to delete stuff. Prodigal's okay. I hate to delete stuff that that's rare. Dreambane you can get quite easily. Let's get rid of Dreambane. The reason being that I don't want to risk not picking up, or for it go to the postmaster. I've been getting a full old postmaster. Yeah, no, I don't. I fixed my internet, but I'm going with a different provider anyway. What I am doing is I'm streaming it at 4K 25 frames per second, which is the traditional UK TV standard for frames per second. It's just I can do 30. There's not much of a difference between 25 and 30, if I'm honest with you, but it just helps the GPU a bit. That's all. And I could make some tweaks and stuff and probably get it up to full 30 without any issues. But for the purposes of this, which is more of a demo than anything, I just wanted to show how good it looks. What was I doing? I was cleaning out my current inventory. 1000, 1002. That's 1000. That's 1002. I'm carrying this, which what I wanted to do. Diddle-diddle-up, 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 diddle-diddle-up. Got this. Yeah, so I'm relatively low character-wise compared to a lot of more diligent. That's not the right word. Destiny players these days, because I just don't play it as much as I used to. I keep saying it because I'm quite proud of it, but I've got about 4,000 hours under my belt over the years, over the last 6 years, but not over the last couple of years. I rarely play it these days. And yet, I think partly that's because I just don't have the old muckers, the old friends that I used to play with a lot. So as I was saying, I've got 97 people in the clan, but they all tend to do their own thing. I could make myself a nuisance and get more involved, but don't know. It's not really me. All right. Yes, I didn't tell you, so my new broadband, which is coming in 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks, is going to be 1 gig down and 110 up. Now, I'm crazy greedy, and I'd still like to have more than 110 up, but I currently get a 36 up, which, as you can see, is enough to do 4K. So it really is just being a bit greedy. But the deal was cheaper than my current provider. So I thought, right, I'll have some of that. And it means that, what it basically means is that it doesn't matter what the rest of the guys are doing in the house. It shouldn't affect me. So I won't. I'm not going to get into the habit of streaming 4K because it's a bit choppy. It's okay if it's just people talking and stuff, but you know, it kind of feels like it's a lot less than 25 to 30 frames per second. It's just the time it takes to process the image. Another way that you can do this is using 2 separate PCs. So what you could have, for example, is the game being played on a different machine, because this is being played on the same machine. So obviously, it's having to render the game as well as process the video within OBS to then stream it. So it's it's putting it under some strain, but I'm just trying to push it to the limits, see what I can do. But I'm super chuffed about the charity, the money I'm trying to raise. So as you can see, This is only literally day 2 because I didn't start till Thursday night, so this is sort of, I don't know, 30 hours in or something, 36 hours in, and it's already 432 out of 1,000 gold, which is just blinding. CLIC is CLIC, Cancer and Leukemia in Children. Although they, to be fair to them, they actually have a much wider remit than that. It tends to go up to young adults, from babies to young adults, and they're not one of these charities that claims that if you give them money they'll cure cancer. It's not to do with cancer research, which, to be fair, is a bit like trying to cure the common cold. But what they do is provide support and education and so on. So, you know, it's tough being told you've got cancer at any age, but if you're 11 or 12 and your mind, you know, you're still forming to try and understand what the hell that means, it's just, you can't even imagine how frightening it must be for a young child. And of course the parents and the siblings and extended family, and that's where CLIC come in. So they provide support at any stage, and it's either to the individuals involved or to their families, but it's predominantly around children. So highly trained, highly experienced support people, and they do make a difference, there's no question of that. And the reason I'm involved in this right now is because somebody who is very, very close and as a family member is suffering with leukemia and has been for a year. And I just feel this is a way that I can show some support, I guess, beyond what one does. So yeah, to see the total almost halfway day 2, and I've basically said, and I mean it, I will just keep doing whatever I need to do to get to that £1,000 goal. So at the moment I'm just doing basic streaming, but over time I don't know, I may do some sort of challenges and so on. Obviously streaming in 4K is one. I don't think you'll find many people doing that in the community. So I'm just going to be doing stuff that's different, games that people maybe haven't seen before. Yeah, just to get to that goal, really. Now it's actually CLIC is running a. No, Martin, I'm not begging, mate. Honestly, look, I know this is a tough time for people financially, and you know, I'm it's not easy, so I'm not you know, some people are more fortunate than others and they can give, and that's absolutely fine. What's actually as important to me is that I'm using this time to inform people about the charity itself, and of course just to make people think about the challenges that some people are going through right now. But no, I absolutely am not asking. I know you are. I know the situation you're in, mate, so you don't need to say another word, my friend. Ooh, itchy nose. I forgot what I was saying now. $16. Wow. You just, you know, you and I, we've both got children, and I think, you know, you can't help, can you, but put yourself in that situation and think, how would it be for me? My youngest is that age, and you sort of think, Christ, I'd be devastated. I mean, I would never be the same person again. There's no question of that. I often think about things like that. People that, you know, their sons went off to the war in World War I and World War II and all that sort of thing. It's like, I don't often think about it, but I do. you do sort of think to yourself, crikey, what must it be like to suddenly get told, you know, someone's either got a fatal disease or even, I mean, look, let's be honest here for a start. Leukemia in children is almost 100% curable these days in children, leukemia. As they get older, the odds unfortunately decrease. So when you get into your 40s, 50s and beyond, it drops down to sort of 50% chance of success of treatment or worse. So, you know, in terms of CLIC, when they started, the mortality rates for children were, you know, almost the same as they are for adults. Now, thank God, with advances in medicine, it's no longer the case. But it's still frightening. It's still really, really scary. There's no question of that. And to be able to call on people to say, you know, I've just been told, hey, how's it going, Brian? Yeah, of course, mate, no worries. To drop that link in the chat, yeah, because, sorry, there's a bit of an impromptu one, and I normally have it all in the description and so on, but I will do. Oh, you work in a hospital, Martin, okay. Funnily enough, yeah, I've got a cousin of mine works in a hospital, and you look quite alike. Funnily enough, yeah, I can't break away from the game, Brian. To type it out, but I will do, mate. So basically, what I'm doing here, Brian, is apart from just trying to raise awareness for CLIC, which is cancer and leukemia in children, and what they do, I'm actually streaming in 4K, which is why it looks a little bit choppy. Now, that's nothing to do with the internet. Actually, the connection's been rock solid, 30,000 bits per second. The reason is that I'm having to, I've dropped it down to 25 frames per second, so it's slightly less than 30, which is just to take the strain off the GPU, really, because obviously I'm playing the game and encoding it and streaming it. But I just wanted to show, I want to do some, you know, I just wanted to show people how much better quality it is on PC versus console or Stadia, because it is insanely high quality. I mean, at some point doing comparisons, it is what it is, and we know that Destiny isn't 4K. There's no secret on Stadia, and it certainly is not 4K on any of the consoles. But one day it will be, and so it's amazing to see how it looks when it is full fat 4K, and this stream is full fat 4K, albeit a little choppy. And that's just that's, again, it's no drop in frame rate. Hello, will you be my friend? Hello. Oh, it's gone. Yeah, so it's not the actual stream, it's not the connection, it's purely the fact that I've had to take it down to a lower frame rate, keep the computer happy. Do you know what, Brian? I know you're in the chat. It sounds like it's real toady, but I really love TSI. It's such a good show. I have to watch the restream later because the VOD, because obviously it's quite late for me. Popped in for a little while last night, as you know, but I was absolutely shattered. So, but it is such a good show. I mean, you do have some really. It's a great sort of end of the week culmination of what's been going on in more detail, because you can be a bit more circumspect, can't you, by the end of the week? You know, all the sort of discussions have been had. Most stuff tends to happen earlier in the week, up till midweek. So you can sort of look back and cover stuff. So it's a really good show. It's a great time to do it. And actually, although we didn't, we got a legendary. Although we didn't manage to
I'm reading a skiff with glimmer mining equipment
run
aboard, Guardian.
Rock Stars at Night last night. One, because yesterday my provider, there was an issue locally and internet went down about 7 times and I wasn't going to risk it. They fixed it, which is why this is happening. And 2, I couldn't get the audio to work properly and it was just frustrating. So with those 2 things combined, I just decided I didn't want to risk it. But that's cool. But my point, was that
I have full
it
confidence
works
in you.
really well. So people can watch our stupid show at 10 o'clock where it's just a bit bants and so on, and then switch over to you guys, which still has all the bants but also has the really intelligent discourse. Intelligent, insightful. I mean, you are all intelligent, but it was patronising. So yeah, I think this really works really well. Bookends the weekend, with the 2 shows straddling, as it were.
Do they still think they can outrun us?
I know it's hard for you. I know it's hard to get everybody together because obviously Megs is in Canada, Eddie's in Canada. I know there's no difference in time, but work and life and everything else, it's all right if it's a Sunday or something, but during a Friday you've got to find a mutually convenient time. So yeah, that's okay though. That's the beauty of being able to watch it back, isn't it? Can't take, we can't get involved in the chat, but that doesn't actually matter for most people. You don't need to shoot them, mate. What are you doing? I do, continuing the extent of my toadiness, I do love the way you chair it as well. I do genuinely, I've said this to you before, but I do genuinely like to watch you at work doing what you do, because it's like, for me, it's like a masterclass. I can, it's like, okay, I like the way Brian did that, and I like the way he let them talk and so on. If you watch, mentioning no names, but if you watch other streamers that interview people, they're so used to talking themselves, they don't know when to shut up. And it's one thing that you do, and I do it as well, is give people the space to talk. It's not an ego show, but sadly, so but that's okay. Different formats for different folks, right? Some people can sit there and talk intellectually for
As effective as ever, I see.
2 hours, almost non-stop, and I'm in awe of those because I can't. I don't think I can. I haven't tried. Actually, you're one that can do that as well. See, this is my whole point. You've got the balance sorted. You can stream and yap, which I struggle to play the game. I mean, you said this yourself. It's difficult to play an intense game and keep engaged with chat and so on. And I mean, you don't have to be Superman to work that out. And but equally, you chair a great discussion show by injecting, and you keep an eye on the chat. You interject humour, and when you're interviewing people, you know when to say nothing and let them get on with it. I just love looking at the detail on 4K. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh, Martin, sorry, mate. If you've contacted me on Facebook, I am crap in Facebook. I actually went back reluctantly. I had an account for quite some time, and I've never been one of the, sort of almost like a substitute for the phone for some people. And I really didn't like the conversations that were coming from the people that were in my friends and family list, largely family, I have to say. Both my mum and dad have got 10 brothers and sisters. Each one had at least 2 children, some had 4 or 5. I have a massive family. They're not particularly well educated, as am I. I'm not. I never went to college. I didn't go to university. I am borderline illegitimate. No, not illegitimate, illiterate. Actually, I am borderline illegitimate because I was conceived out of wedlock. There you go, I can have that one. But illiterate, sorry. I'm joking, by the way, I'm not really. But anyway, my point was that Facebook, I just didn't like the views that my semi-educated family espoused, particularly over the last few years, the rise of the right and so on. So I kicked it into touch and I was really happy. And then I got into this and realised that I need to communicate on Facebook, which annoys me somewhat. So I've set up an account there, but I really don't use it. It's almost like I hold it at arm's length, you know. So if you've sent me, what I'm trying to get to is if you've sent me a message on Facebook, I will have a look, but apologies, mate, if you've been waiting to get a reply from me on Facebook. Twitter's always kind of been my social media platform of choice. I think the sound bites suit me. If you look carefully at or watch me at work, you'll see that I'm the king of the sound bite, and so Twitter really works for me. I'm not so good at the longer stuff. It just works. I'm just used to copywriting, I guess, in my career. And Twitter obviously has a restricted amount of wordage, which means that it suits my mentality. Oh, I haven't seen that one before. And yeah, so I don't tend to get. And Instagram, have they changed Instagram? Because I opened up another Instagram account recently, and I can't find where I could just put a picture on. I've got to add it to a story or do something else, and it confuses me somewhat. I am confused. So yeah, I got my new broadband package coming in 2 weeks, 1 gig down, 110 up, which I'm really looking forward to. The thing in the UK is you don't get crazy packages. Well, some people do. Most of the UK doesn't. You don't get, 1 gig down, 1 gig up. But nobody does capped limits. Everybody's uncapped data. In a true sense as well. It's not kind of like a, faux cap, faux unlimited. So that'll be good. That'd really be good, if nothing other than it allows the rest of the family to, at the moment on a Friday, they all know to stay off the internet or be damned. Particularly over the last few weeks, I've been trying to resolve this issue. I saw your comment, thanks Brian. Yeah, those gremlins, mate, have been a pain. They've been, first couple of weeks it wasn't such an issue. The third week though, I'd really had it by then, because I'm trying to do something. I'm always trying to do stuff that's different. I've got some ideas which I'm in two minds whether I'm going to roll them out for Rockstars at Night this coming Friday or wait till I get my new connection. But it's something, again, no one's doing, and if I can pull it off, I think it will be fascinating. So yeah, I was frustrated because it's like, here's Rokk again. Why didn't we just give up and go back to StreamYard? And that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to use those convenient tools. And look, it depends what people want to achieve. I guess I'm just more about the actual construction of the content than I am the content itself. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just talking out my arse, really. Obviously, I care about what the content is, but I guess I see myself as more of a producer and a director than the guy in front of the camera. I guess that's a way of looking at it, and that's kind of some of my thoughts to what I want to do with at least Rockstars at Night. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen a British show called Top Gear. I know it's quite popular around the world. And it's just three older guys who don't give a shit anymore because they're middle-aged. That's one of the things that happens when you get to your middle age. You don't care anymore. You don't need to attract ladies or men, if that's your thing. And so you kind of just don't give a shit. Don't. And so you tend to be a little bit more, you know, free with what you say. So I'm keen to emulate that as the gaming show, and it's entertaining to watch guys that don't give a shit and quite happy to say stuff. It really is, because it's like, did he just say what I thought he said? Oh, no way could I get away with that. And but to centre that around gaming rather than cars for a start, and also to engage the audience more. So it's nice to talk with you guys, but I kind of want, you know, those shows where they sort of have a stood up audience. There's loads of people, they're all sort of in a ring, and it just feels like they're all having a party, and that's kind of what I'd love for my show to feel like, Rockstars at Night. Obviously, Rock Around the Clock's a different proposition altogether. That's much more that's closer to the sort of traditional. Well, the original Stadia Rocks was a magazine in the sense that, you know, it had various topics and sections, and I mourn the fact that I'm not doing that anymore, because I love that format, but it took too much work. I could do it live, but it would need prep. And so I've kind of backburnered Stadia Rocks. It's going to come back at some point, but I need to be able to do it live because I'm too lazy to put the prep in that people like Brian do amazingly well. All looks like it's off the hoof, off the cuff, but I know there's a lot of work's gone into the thought process and the writing and the scripting and everything else, and that's what I had to do with Stadia Rocks, but it killed me in the end. It was just ridiculous. So I intend to do it, but I need to do it from a live perspective, so that'll come back. Let me put that URL in here. So it's https, all the rest, and then it's tiltify.com /Stadia Rocks/Rock. I think that's correct. Give that a click, see if it works. It's little things like the digits on that gun. And I know you're thinking, well, it doesn't look much different to me, but honestly it does when you're playing it. When I played Destiny 2 last night on Stadia, and I know, as I've said, it's not 4K, but I really noticed the sort of jaggies around the edge of the ships, for example, and I just thought, because I've been playing this, I just thought, blimey, what a difference. So Brian, have you gone to bed yet? Question. I've just had a thought. So you guys, let me see, 1, 2. I watched you at about 2:30. You normally go for 3 hours. It's just 8, 9, 10. This is like early morning for you, isn't it? I just thought that then. I don't want a Corsair down, and I don't want a small gift either. So I'm going to dismantle that, and I'm going to dismantle that. Contain the spreading darkness in contact with IO or Titan. Okay, that's something to do. Yeah, mate. I don't know. I mean, I know you're younger than me, but I kind of feel like, in a way, I've been quite lucky in the generation I was born into, the Generation X, because we don't have the baggage of those that were born around the end of World War II. When I say baggage, they lived in the shadow of the war. They knew people that, you know, like World War One was the worst by far, but they knew people who had, you know, suffered in the war. But equally, they benefited from a new prosperity. Whereas I was born in the 60s, I was a child in the 70s, I was, you know, pretty much teens, young adult in the 80s, got married in the 90s, I had my kids in the 20s, so I've sort of had my whole life experience really has spanned every single generation, decade. It's so much easier to aim down sights on PC with mouse. And, obviously I don't remember the 60s, I was 3 when it came to an end. And, you know, I mean, we all love the decade that we grew up as kids in. So a lot of people I know, you know, 80s were it. My favourite question to people is one of your favourite movies The Goonies? Yeah, it is. I love The Goonies. Yep, you were born in the 80s. Because I think that's a shit film. Yeah, I bet one of your favourite movies is The Goonies. Am I right, Martin? You know it. If you were born in the 80s, you love The Goonies. Excuse me. You see, I'm watching Brian's show. This is what happens. You know it, mate, don't you? You're chuckling, but you know it makes sense. Yeah, I knew it would be. It always is. It's my classic. I can always tell what decade somebody was born in by asking if one of their favourite films is The Goonies. Born in the 60s and 70s, they probably didn't see it. They were born in the 90s, they were too young. So that's the one. And then you can tell people who were born in the 90s, you say, first Harry Potter movie, is that one of your favourite films? Oh yeah, you were born in the 90s. So what was it for me then? Oh crikey, what was the seminal 70s movie for me? I don't know. I mean, my... Excuse me. I love the 70s. Honestly, I did. I know, like all decades, they had some dodgy parts. Have some of that, but I just loved it. It was simple, you know. It was simple. I mean, we didn't have mobile phones and internet, and we only had 3 channels on television in the UK. Yeah, it's just simple. I can't put it any more. There's a thing that happens as you get older, and you realise that all the trinkets and, you know, all the trappings of money, everything, meaningless, mate. And yeah, okay, I run my own business, but I live an incredibly frugal life, honestly. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go out to dinner very often, maybe birthdays, Christmas, that kind of thing. And even then it'll be a fairly cheap meal. I don't own a car. No, that might surprise you. Now, I've had big expensive cars. My last car was a brand new custom built BMW X5, but I haven't had a car for about 4 years, and I have no interest in having one. I don't need it. I can catch a lift, I can walk, suits me. I don't buy clothes. I get clothes at Christmas and birthdays, and they last me the whole year round. It's just honestly, I'm the most frugal person you'll find. I could happily live on just enough money to buy me food, pay for my internet, and the occasional game. For me, it's far more important that my family are happy and my friends. That's for me, that's what life's about. I couldn't give a flying fig about my own accumulation of assets. It doesn't interest me in the slightest. I've never worked for money. It's never been a thing of interest. No matter what I've ever done, I've never been the highest paid person. I don't think I'm the highest paid person in my company, and I own it. Doesn't bother me. Money is a false measurement of happiness. There you go. That's quite philosophical, wasn't it? So I'm more than happy for people to laugh at the clothes that I wear. Doesn't bother me. They're the fools. They are the fools. Yeah, Stranger Things is great, isn't it? It really is. It's done hugely well. I'm not so sure that I like the last series as much as the previous, though, if I'm honest with you. I don't know. I kind of have a bit of an anathema, I think that's the word, to anything that's overhyped. So, for example, Cyberpunk. Right. It's been hyped beyond. It's now become godlike in status. As far as games are concerned, it's become godlike, and that's ridiculous. Because I promise you, when it's played, you go, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Wasn't quite as good as I thought it would be. It's it's got some good bits. People get hyped up, and then they so desperately want this thing that they will fight for it. How angry have people got because they think they're not going to get this game as soon as other people? Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. So hype turns me off stuff. Anything that's overhyped, I tend to be quite negative towards it. Bum, 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 bum. I would imagine you're a bit like that, Martin. I don't think you get hyped up, mate, do you? I'm sure you... I know that you have, there's things that you enjoy. Yeah, it's true, mate. It just traps you. So true.
Bring that dinner bell stretch. Soup's on.
Io is a sacred place.
There's a phrase, I can't remember it exactly, but something like, money buys you things to impress neighbours that you don't even like. It's like, why? Oh, if that's your thing, fair enough. And I know people, that is their thing, and they'll do anything for cash. They've just got to have the next shiniest thing, the best clothes. Not me. Don't need it. Not impressing anybody. I'm not trying to. You know, Martin, I never talk about my company or anything unless I'm specifically asked, in which case I'm always very open. Because I don't need to impress people. That's not my life. That's not what I do. And I don't mean that because I've got anything that's impressive. It's just not something that bothers me. I don't have an ego like that. You know, because if you've got your family and you've got your health and you've got great memories and you've got hope, then you've got everything, haven't you? Well, see, the stream's held up, isn't it? 4K. That hasn't wavered.
Thanks, cut off, partner. Sweep it clean.
I think it's just you and me now, mate. Just you and me. Oh, that's all heavy. Do you play Destiny, Martin? Is that a game that you've got into at all at any point? Whether Stadia or not? I think I've lost all my notes. Pick up the notes. Get it together. Sorry about yawning, man. So tired. And I blame Stadia Mania and Dazzadini because I was all set to go to bed last night and they said, do you want to come and do a bit of PUBG? I said, it's about 11 o'clock, so I'll tell you what, I'll give you 3/4 of an hour, guys. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 1:30, I think it was. It's killing me. It's their fault. Whew. How many motes have I got? Don't know if I should bank them. Some of them. Thank you, motes, boy. A few. Wow. There's lots of enemies because I use my super. Oh, here they are. Have some of this. Yes.
Make it lock and mag gear. Clear them out.
Clear them out. It's I think it's fair to say Destiny is absolutely at its best when you play with friends. There's no question of that. You can play it solo if you're just trying to level up your character and grind a bit and stuff, but it's so much more fun when there's a couple of you just chatting. You can play it by switching your brain off and just, talking to your mates. How's the day been? How's work? How's the kids? All that stuff. Just nice. It's just like going down the pub, as they used to do in the old days after work every day. They go down the pub, wouldn't they? And it would just be a different place. Just talk to your friends, get stuff off your chest. I mean, all gaming's like that, I get that, I know, but Destiny, for some reason, just kind of sculpted to work that way. Yes. Oh no, I walked into and blew up. What an idiot. Right, okay, how are we doing? 43%? 43%? Die. Bank those smokes. Yeah, I just thought actually why I'm yawning and I'm tired. I'm feeling really tired. I haven't eaten anything yet or had any breakfast or coffee or whatever. No. The sugar levels are down, aren't they? That's what it's all about. Oh, I don't know about you, but I tell you what. I started with really good intentions when COVID kicked in and we were all on lockdown, and I was going for walks every day. Every morning I'd go for a walk. And I've got to a point now where I hardly ever leave this chair. I genuinely haven't been out this. I haven't been outside of this house this whole week just gone. And that is not good on the old tummy. Get some food in a second. I'll wake myself up. Hey, Duncan! How are you, bud? I'm streaming Destiny on the PC in 4K without using Shadow. It's a bit choppy, but that's not the internet. I've chosen a lower frame rate. That's all. Just to be less of a strain on the old GPU. But oh wow, someone's donated. I don't know who it is. Oh, and you see the little ticker list at the bottom. I have to manually update that because Tiltify don't have that as part of their overlays, so I tend to do it before I stream. Well, if it's anybody that's watching, thank you so much. And if you're not watching right now, but you will be watching, thank you so much. That's so good. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We've now gone over the halfway mark, and we're not even 2 days into the... Yay, you got an umbrella. 2 days into the initiative. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. Yeah, so the reason that I came across this was it was believe it or not, it was a promoted tweet. And CLIC, Cancer and Leukemia in Children, were looking for gamers and content creators to sort of take on, to sort of do challenge streams and raise money. Well, I'm no Andy Morphs, and I wasn't up for necessarily doing anything like that. I'll leave that to younger, more creative folk. But I thought I can stream and I can talk about the charity, and I've been blown away because I just set an arbitrary 1,000, and the reason I set 1,000. Actually, I'll, if I find a safe place, let me go to orbit. I'll show you why. Whoops. Return to orbit. Yeah. So the reason that I set 1,000, because I mean it's a nice number. To be fair, I think you're pushing your luck in these current sort of where we are currently, to expect people to to be more generous, really. But I'll show you. So the reason I went for that was, if I log in, so it's player versus cancer, right? This is the actual initiative. I've gone for obviously Rokk versus Cancer in Children, just because I wanted it to be a bit more emotive and obvious what I'm doing this for. But look, they've got a £20,000 goal overall, and they've only raised so far 2,868. Well, guess what? We're 512 of that already, and they have a little what you call it, leaderboard, and look who's number 3. It's us. Are we going to smash it, guys? CLIC Sargent music at 1,050. That's been there since I started this, right? I mean, once we get to the 1,000, I will be. Oh, Martin, thank you, mate. I've just seen that you donated. Honestly, I know times are tough, and that's so kind of you. Thank you, my friend. You and Brian. I don't think Brian's in the chat now, but that is so sweet and so kind of you. But when we get to the 1,000, I will top up whatever it takes to smash that. We will get to number 1. We will be number 1 on their leaderboard. And look, there we are. Yay, Rokk. Wow. They've not. No, they haven't put logos up. We've got a logo. How cool is that? That is so cool. It's a fairly modest target, 20k, really, isn't it? I mean, what's that? That's going to be essentially one sort of part-time support person for a year, isn't it? That's what that is, because that's essentially what these guys do. They they support people that are struggling, young people that are either going through it themselves, or they're in a family that's struggling through cancer. So yeah, it's a really worthwhile charity. Challenge impossible. Gamers, streamers and pros, are you ready to take on an impossible gaming challenge? No. But I will game and stream. Stream your attempt, yeah. So they've set some challenges. They're quite good. I mean, they're not that difficult, but a lot of what they are, a lot of it was around Twitch. So you've got the impossible first-person shooter challenge. Take no damage for an entire match without camping. Well, just stay in the same place and walk around for a bit. The impossible crime game challenge. No purging. In a game where you can commit various crimes, you must do the opposite and be a law-abiding citizen. Well, I do that anyway. Do you play? When I play GTA and stuff, I feel really bad if I'm hitting people or nicking their cars, unless I'm playing PUBG with Duncan, in which case he gets a slap. I think he's gone. I think it's you and me again, Martin. The impossible fighter game challenge. You have to win 5 1v1 matches. No, see, I wouldn't be able to do that. The impossible battle royale, one vehicle only. Win a battle royale match without leaving a vehicle for the entire match. I could do that. Well, I couldn't win it. No, I couldn't win it, but I could certainly drive around in a car all the time. What? Blindfold? It must win an online race while blindfolded. So, okay, so you play grid, and people have to tell you, I guess. Adventure. Oh well. Yeah, so they've got these little challenges, and they're pretty cool. I mean, you know, they're trying to come up with something, aren't they? But it's not. I'm just going to do my thing. No worries, mate. So if I go to my dashboard, because I want to make sure that you and your very kind donation is on the list. That's really sweet. That's really sweet. Yeah, GTA is a great game. I completed it on... Was it on PS3? I've got a feeling I completed it on PS3. And... yeah, completed it on PS3. And then it came out again on... PS4, and did you know that Brian and you have donated, by the way? That's really sweet. Unhappy Cloud Gamer donated £80. I'm just putting it into my list so that you get your rightful credit. Alright, that'll update now. And when it does, I need to change the list of donors so that it doesn't live on the other edge of the... There we go. Boom. Wow, that's amazing. 512. Amazing. Now, this is what I was going to point out, Martin. When you're next in Destiny on Stadia, just have a look at the edge of the ships here, because it's true 4K. There's no moire at all. I know you didn't. I know. I think Brian very generously included you. It's such a, I'm not being funny. He's such a generous guy. I know you didn't, mate. I know you didn't. Don't worry. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He has donated on your behalf, so that's fine. It's all good. And if I'm confused and it's not what he meant, well, what the heck? You have a credit anyway, mate, because I know you would if you could, and that's the important thing. Right, 5 more minutes. I think I'm going to go and grab myself some breakfast. Do you have anything that you would like me to do in Destiny before I go? Is there anything you'd like to see how it looks in this higher resolution, for example? He's a very I'm not just saying this, but I've been blown away by the generosity, and yeah, there's some amazingly generous people in our community. They really are. Well, we just came from here, Rokk. You don't want to go back there. Moon's a really nice looking place. Let's do Moon. Just have a quick look in the Moon. Then at 10 o'clock your time, or is it 5 to 9 or 5 to 10 where you are? Because I know where you are, but I'm not sure if you're in the same time belt as us. I think you're slightly out. I think you're an hour ahead, aren't you? Most of Europe is. Most of Europe's an hour ahead of Britain GMT. The speed of getting around, I think, is still faster in Stadia, but not by much. PC isn't far behind. God, the quality of the textures, though, is totally amazing. Hello, Iris.
You have traveled through darkness to speak with me. Let us begin.
Dooby-doo. Yeah, see, I don't have the season on the PC that you need to do all these different things, which is fine. It's absolutely fine.
Don't die.
Oh. Huh. Which PC show? Is there oh yes, of course. I remember you showing in your stream. Do you know, I hadn't even realised that was on. No, I don't think I will. Largely because I've done a load this week already, and I ought to be spending some time with the family, mate, to be honest with you. What time is it on? I'd like to think so, but you know what? So far, in IGN Summer Festival Gaming, they've not mentioned Stadia once. Not one developer, well, that I've seen, to be fair, that's being a bit generalistic, but from what I have seen, not one developer has said coming to XYZ and Stadia.
Come, Slayer of
And that's a concern.
I have words for you.
It genuinely is a concern, because at this point, for games that that are still in development, and will be for some of them
It
for
knows
another year
things
or
about
two.
us. How we
I'd be
fight.
fully expecting them now to have Stadia in their development cycle. So the fact that it isn't, or for some of these games it isn't, is a concern. Because the question is why? Why are you not doing it for Stadia? It doesn't make any sense. So I hope they are, but I don't know. I don't know why or whether there's any. I don't know whether Google have asked them not to say anything, because we don't know, do we? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Do you know what time it is today, Martin? What time of the day it is on? Because yeah, I'd like to watch that. I've become quite the PC fan. It's nice though, isn't it? It's nice to have all the options. Thank you, mate. It's like, you know, I mean, I still love my PS4 Pro. Obviously, I love Stadia, and now I'm loving the PC. It's just great to have options. And some people spend hundreds every weekend going out clubbing and, you know, drinking and stuff, and I don't. So I put my money into stuff that I enjoy, which I know they do as well, but theirs is one night at the weekend, gone. Mine is going to give me enjoyment for a couple of years, you know. I'm going to have to go and get some food before I fall asleep again. What's that then? What's that? Why is it saying there's a... Ah, dear. Right, mate. Well, it's been very nice of you to spend a bit of time with me this morning, give us some company and someone real to talk to. Before I go, Martin, can I just ask you, is the sound quality okay, both in terms of me and the game, and me over the game, so that I'm not too loud or too quiet? No, don't be RB. I'm going. I've got to go for a sleep. So, tiltify.com/@StadiaRocks/Rokk is the link where you can donate. 50p, whatever you can donate would be amazing. I'm not. There's some, you know, people obviously donated amazing amounts, but I don't expect people to. It'd be just nice to be able to get to that £1,000 limit. Going. Right. Me too, mate. Thank you very much for joining, and I will catch you later. Cheers.